So often we don't lack courage. Often it is we lack getting into the kind of central current of our life where you will have courage, because Dharma requires also courage, because Dharma requires to love. And Dharma requires, and I don't mean anyone's particular Dharma, but your own. The main thing is it's all real simple. There's no really like doing it good or doing it bad. It's not, at least I don't think about it like that at all. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's difficult because it's boring. That's the problem once you've been doing it a long time. Then you get so used to it that then sometimes it just becomes easier to phone it in, and thus there's like a little bit of like lacking of juice and lacking of freshness. And that's just the advantageous part of beginner's mind, is that it's juicy, at least if you like it. If you don't like it, it's not juicy. But if you do like it and it resonates, which often happens, because it's all just about feeling good and making sure that the tissue layers in the body have good vitality. Now, the tissue layers in the body are the substratum of the psyche of the mind. The watery parts of the body, what they call in India rasa, the juices of the body. So it's not just water as in H2O, but it's anything really that has fluidity. It includes, like, for instance, your lymphatic system. So if the waters are like dried or stagnant or not well circulating, there's a sense of dissatisfaction that tends to creep into our sensation of our life. So we feel dissatisfied, in other words. But then if you get juicy, you feel satisfied again. And then your blood, the blood is a sense of invigoration. You feel enough passion to do what it is. And sometimes we feel anemic. Sometimes, especially if we're not connected to what our life is about in some meaningful way. That doesn't mean career orientation. So often in our modern world, when we think purpose, our minds are going to career orientation. But career orientation is only one house of 12 houses of a zodiac. Purpose can express itself in all the domains of life. But the real, what they call in the house of Dharma, is the ninth house. The house of great purpose is the ninth house. So figuring out the sense of purpose in life is a ninth house activity, not a 10th house activity. 10th house they call Dharma in action. So once you have that sense of purpose, then putting it into action is 10th house, house of career. But not just career, Dharma in action. So we say career because we're hypnotized to think that career is the best thing and the symbol of success in life. Haven't we become largely hypnotized like that? Because that's what everything that, it's how we're shaped. It's how even like our neurological patterns are shaped as young people, if we've grown up in the modern industrialized world. Where commerce is king, is really the great religion. So, no big deal. Undo it. So only undo it so we can feel happy and feel good and actually enjoy life and be connected to really the purpose of life, which it's always in some way stays the same, and then always in different seasons it's changing how it's going to express itself. How it's going to emanate. If you have a little baby, your purpose changes, because then everything is about taking care of that baby. I was listening to this great podcast the other day with, what is her name? Esther Perel? Yeah, she's so great. And she was making the point that in relationships, when you like fall in love with somebody, and you get like googly-eyed. You get dreamy eyes, right? You're so in love, and say, it's the best thing. But then when the baby comes, you have those same eyes, but you have it for your child for a little while, but until they start driving you nuts. Then you lose it a little bit. But it always still stays the same. Just like with a relationship, eventually they're going to start driving you nuts. In some way or fashion, that other person is definitely going to be annoying in some ways. And that's how it is, isn't it? Of course, we're just all humans. And so anyhow, the attention that we used to give each other in in a love relationship, when we have a baby, now there's this third. And at least for a couple of years, really all of that energy is going to primarily, who's going to be keeping it alive at what times? At the base level, this kind of, every parent knows what the fuck I'm talking about. And because we romanticize it so much, especially when we wish to have one. And it's not to kind of downgrade the magic of having a child at all. It is the most magical thing, definitely. Like this little being comes out of the womb, and it's like you love it like you've never loved anything in your life. It's amazing. Yeah, it's also, the hardest thing, because you have to now, no longer is it about me, or is it about even us? It's about this new thing. And because life is the most precious thing, creativity is the most precious thing. So in this purpose, when purpose emanates into being a mother or a father, that is equally purpose as anyone's career. It's ridiculous to think otherwise. There's nothing more purposeful than loving your child and nourishing them into something that can become also happy. And to draw out their happy qualities and to draw out their intelligent qualities. And that becomes the creativity of being a parent. But in order for us to do that, we have to do that within ourselves. Only to that extent can we pass that on. Well, there's some things you can pass on just because you get old enough, right? And sometimes it's like an 80-year-old person I have tremendous respect for, even if there's nothing I agree with them on. It's the very fact that they're 80 years old, And so there's a certain type of wisdom that does come just by living. However, when we become actively involved in kind of opening up the real river current of our life and what our life is all about, exploring ourselves, discovering the inner universe that then gives rise to the whole experience of the outer universe, which includes all of our relationships, or children, or the work that we do in the world. And so the horoscope, the zodiac, is so cool because it gives some context for some of that, and you can see in different seasons of life which kind of areas of life may come up more into the surface. If it's all kind of like, on the undercurrent there, and certain things at different times peak up above the surface and then give rise to a new relationship or a divorce or a child being born or a loved one passing away, something like along these lines, these very big, important moments of our life. But the great jazz legend Wayne Shorter said there's two most important moments in a person's life. And one is the moment you're born, and the second is the moment you figured out why. You remembered why. I think that's a cool way of thinking about it. And so if you got some sense of purpose in life, your blood will be good. You'll have some passion for what it is you're here to do. And we're also become more and more willing to do what is difficult. That's why every parent, they're willing to do what is difficult because there's this great meaningfulness in it. So often we don't lack courage. Often it is we lack getting into the kind of central current of our life where you will have courage, because Dharma requires also courage, because Dharma requires to love. And Dharma requires, and I don't mean anyone's particular Dharma, but your own. And Dharma requires to often go against the grain of things, Doesn't usually follow societal norms or family norms often, if that Dharma is kind of, not in concert with what's going on there. So yeah, it makes us, step into ourselves more. And we're always good because of it. So what we're going to do tonight is kind of just basically tuning the instrument so that very naturally, it's all experiential, it's not based on philosophy. Although philosophy is helpful. But it's experiential in that I can use my body, I can use my breath, so that I can have a visceral experience of, yes, this is me. And the anxieties that have been maybe, getting the better of me, somehow lose a bit of their electricity. So then naturally, when the anxiousness, dissipates, or the heaviness or depression lightens, even just some. And you just very naturally can once again feel yourself and feel your natural wisdom, feel your natural intelligence, and feel your natural state of happiness, that there is at the center of us a goodness always present, ever present. So it's tuning the instrument so that we stay in contact with that innate goodness that is always there, creativity.
Thanks for watching on YouTube. Best easy way to stay in touch with us. Hit the subscribe button here. You'll see our videos when they come up. If you enjoyed this one, hit the like button. It'll help more people see it, help the channel grow. I appreciate you watching.